Welcome to the reading and coke sniffing portion of the podcast.
Really? I don't sniff coke, man.
Oh,
Crack is whack. Coke is a joke.
I smoke rock
This
cocaine.
is a drug-free zone. And welcome back to another episode of Black Law and Legal Lies, where we focus on education, entertainment, edutainment. I am Ann, one of your hosts. You can follow the podcast at Black Law Podcast across all social media platforms. And you can follow me at I Tell Legal Lies on Twitter. You can also follow Becky if you can find her. She's been like Casper, the friendly ghost.
She ain't too hard to miss these days.
You know what? That's not right. That's just not right.
What? I'm just saying, because she always here right. And I always be seeing her.
Nah, that's just not right.
My name is Dan, and I am one of your other hosts. And I am, and today she is low energy, people. Let me tell you. Low energy.
Really? I'm low energy?
And, our forefathers, when they invented these podcasts, they did not see the times that were coming ahead of them. Very true, people. Very true. That's how you know he freestyling. He'd just be like,
because he says anything and none of it makes sense. Every time he opens his mouth, he's freestyling.
That shit is funny because you can tell when he's reading off the prompter, he'll be like, this great nation was founded upon principles. And let me tell you, very fine principles.
That's a great word. Principles is a big word. Very huge.
I've been to the principal's office. My name is Dan. Keep up with me on Twitter and on IG at I am Dan on drugs. So, ladies and gentlemen, today what we're going to talk about, I'm really excited to bring this topic up. We're about to talk about getting the fuck up out of Wait, I got to New Orleanize this. We gotta get the fuck up out here. You're
nah, bro. You don't sound right. Keep it.
Fuck up out here. We're gonna get the fuck out here.
Really?
You heard me?
Really?
Yeah, we got them 349s, Wody. 349s, Wody.
You know what? Hey, what?
Say, bruh. I don't even know what's going on right now, bruh.
Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell y'all about. No, you did. You say we're talking about getting the hell up out of here.
Get the fuck up out here, you heard me?
You know what? You gonna stop doing that because you sound stupid.
Man, everybody else says that I sound like I'm from New Orleans.
Lies. You sound
for real. They said that shit.
That's because they're not from New Orleans.
It don't matter. I can pass as an actor. If they was doing a movie about New Orleans and they casted me in the movie as a native New Orleanian, I can pass.
You could also pass for Spanish. You could also pass.
I can.
For Iranian.
Be like, marque dos, habla español.
You know what? Shut up. Anyway, so getting the expletive
fuck up
out of here, as Dan so eloquently put it, we're talking about taking up residencies in different countries. And we have been experiencing, we know what white flight is. And that's normally when people run from neighborhoods because black people move in.
My neighborhood currently, actually. And no bullshit. I'm like looking around now like, hold up. So when we moved in this neighborhood on this particular street, we were the only family of color. Black. I think there's a Hispanic family that tries to pass themselves off as white.
Wait, really?
Nah, really. So next thing you know, we got Spanish, they're Mexicans that live on one side. And then we had another black family move in about 4 or 5 houses down. Then another Hispanic, I don't know, I'm going to assume that they're Mexican just because the area moved in. So next thing you know, you start seeing for sale signs left and right. Mm-hmm. So what's crazy is this neighborhood, up until a certain point was not known for diversity. I mean, just the fucking parrot. Well, city is Metairie even a city?
Metairie is a city.
It's not really
Jefferson is the parish.
It's not really known for. Man, I'm up from up north where we have counties.
Same difference,
right? But we don't have cities inside of county.
Yes, you do.
Prince George's
County. Right. And
Oxon
what
Hill,
city
Maryland.
is exactly in Prince George County?
I don't even think Oxon Hill is a city, though.
You know what? Anyway.
Whatever. But anyway, all the for sale signs are up, and we have new white families moving in, and they are shocked. Because when you typically look at a house, when you go out with your realtor, you don't really see who lives where and what's
in the
going
other
on.
houses, right?
And you just be like, oh, all right, yeah, it's a nice house. Just like there's a section, and I've talked about it before, on the West Bank called Woodmere.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be all white, nice houses, big houses, single family homes, 2-car garage, 4 beds, 2 baths.
It is actually where a lot of Caucasians moved to when they were leaving New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
It was either they moved to Metairie or they moved to the North Shore of our lake. We have a Lake Pontchartrain, and the North Shore of our lake is like Slidell, Covington, different places. Or they moved across the river, the Mississippi River, on the West Bank.
Bruh.
Of the city, and they moved into places, just far enough not to be a part of the city, but not too far that you can't enjoy what the city has to offer. So, yeah. So as I was saying, we know what white flight is. Well, now we're talking about black flight, and not just from cities. We're talking about black people leaving the country, something that has been termed Blaxit. Like Brexit.
Brexit, yep.
Yeah, so now it's being termed Blaxit. And basically because of
How
what is going on,
what
is going on right now, what's currently going on, our systems of justice, the duality of life between Caucasian people and people of color in the United States.
I wouldn't even call it a duality.
It is a duality.
I would add some more alities in there. It's like a quadality.
Okay, so
because you got your poor white people who
but they still make
treat
off
us right. They benefit, but
right. They still make out better than
the middle class and the upper class white folks don't like them. So, and the same with the police. When you're looking at policing these towns, let's say like Hanville, Louisiana.
They don't police Hanville, except on behind the tracks, because behind the tracks in Hanville, there are certain sections in Hanville
that's the trailer park
that black people live in.
Oh, I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about the trailer park folks, like Destrehan.
Like that. They honestly don't, because that's why
we got somebody we can ask.
When I say duality, it's because it doesn't matter if you're poor and white.
It does to an extent.
Not when it comes to policing, and not when it comes to
Have you watched
treatment.
the show Cops?
Yes.
It's always that one white dude that never have a shirt on. He got them skin tight Wranglers on and a Budweiser hat, and he be running with a cigarette hanging from his lip. And that cigarette don't never fall either.
But
they will tackle his
that
ass.
dude still get treated better than me.
Coke, y'all. Coke. I'm telling you. So all I know is the black people, we do get treated unfairly, 100%. And damn, that's the elephant over there. There's an elephant in the room. Man, I'm going to take some time to shout out our sponsors. Wow, my co-host is having a heart attack. Look, we have there's a new game on the market, and let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's great. It is called Quotes from the Man with the Hat. You will get things like hey buddy, I'm not a racist or anything, but my brother-in-law, he just don't get it. I told him he almost got shot 5 times, and see, I have experience. So I see these things. Or things like, don't fall now, we ain't got no insurance. And my personal favorite, you should have been got your money. So check out the new card game called Quotes from the Man with the Hat. You can use these quotes in any situation and it doesn't matter. They will always apply. You ask about Apple stock and you pick a card and it'll be like, yeah, but my brother-in-law's a racist.
You know what? You are so stupid.
Psh,
anyway, all right. So Blaxit. We are talking about Black people pulling up stakes and taking up residency in another country. So, and when we say that, we do not mean all the time. Specifically, we're talking about them taking up residency, not necessarily giving up their American citizenship, but they apply to become a permanent resident, as someone would here come to the United States and apply to be a permanent resident. We have green card holders who are basically permanent U.S. residents.
Right.
Well,
let me ask you this too, because I've only heard, I never really looked it up, but once you renounce your U.S. citizenship, you can no longer regain it, right?
That's not true.
Okay. Because I was under the impression that you could.
I mean,
well, you could not. After you gave it up, the U.S. is like, fuck you then.
No, you just like anyone else, you can become a resident. You can become a resident of the United States. It will be difficult for you to do it, but you could regain your citizenship.
Huh. Because there's a question. Maybe it's one. Yeah, I think it. Shit. I got to renew my gun permit and go shoot some shit. But I think it is when you buy a gun, they ask you, have you ever renounced your U.S. citizenship on the application to purchase a firearm? I think that's where I saw it. So then that led me to believe that if you have, you couldn't get it back. Therefore, you couldn't purchase a gun or some shit like that. I don't know. But I thought it was rather interesting.
No.
I know there's a town. A little town I know.
Anyway, so here's the thing about actually becoming a permanent resident of another country.
It's hard.
Not as hard as you think. There are a lot of countries out there who welcome Black people, who honestly welcome anybody with open arms. Take Mexico. Our friends to the south. Donald Trump talks about Mexicans, the country of Mexico and its citizenship, but there are about roughly 1 to 2 million Americans living as permanent residents in Mexico. Mm-hmm. The crazy thing about what I was going to say about taking up residency in another country while maintaining your U.S. citizenship, excuse me, y'all, you actually still have to pay taxes on any money that you earn. You have to file a U.S. tax return. Mm-hmm. So, the way the tax laws work, you have to pay taxes on your global income. And when they say global, they mean income from anywhere that you've made it.
So as long as you are a U.S. citizen. But right. What if you're not a U.S. citizen? Because, all right, I'm somewhat familiar with taxes. I know that we have these immigrant workers that come here that are not
U.S. citizens,
Not, and they don't have green cards, visas, or
you're
the.
still required to pay taxes because you have earned money in the country.
In my experience, they don't pay taxes though. They actually get.
Exactly. Exactly right. Well, see, and this is one of the flaws, so to speak, in our tax laws, and something that Congress actually 2 years ago kind of closed some gaps. So we have treaties with Mexico, and we have other things that affect taxes and the way Mexican citizens are taxed in the United States. So the way our treaties work, if you are not a U.S. citizen, but you are a Mexican national, if you're a citizen of Mexico, you're working in the United States, you're earning income in the United States, and you file a tax return, you are not eligible for earned income credit if you have children on your tax return
But
who
you
are not.
get the child tax credit
But
though.
exactly right. But you get child tax credit. And you used to be able to get child tax credit if they had an ITIN number, which is an individual tax identification number. It's not a social security number, but it's a number that the IRS, the Department of the Treasury, uses to identify you on your tax return. They have since, when they had the tax law revamp, they fixed some of that so that if the child that you're claiming doesn't have a social security number, you're not eligible for certain credits, right? So that was because, like you said, it's kind of crazy. You're working in the United States. You're not necessarily paying taxes. Some of them don't, but you file a tax return and then you get like $5,000 in tax credits for children that are not even in the country. But children that you're taking care of nonetheless, at least that's what you say. So if you are, as I said, United States citizens, it does not matter if your residence is someplace else. If you are making money in that other place, the United States is actually, the United States want a piece of it. You know, they want you to pay money on the income that you've earned.
Even
Now,
if you are a drug dealer,
yeah,
a racketeer, a pimp, a prostitute, or any type of illegal activity that generates money for you, you are still technically required to file a tax return. That's how they
right.
got Al
Because
Capone,
we
y'all.
just said global income, and it does not matter if it's legal or illegal. The United States government wants you to pay taxes on anything that you're making. So, to answer your question, to restate, because you asked about renunciation, and I said that you can't get it back. Well, let me further let me further.
Told you, ain't hard to miss.
What?
Ain't hard to miss.
Shut up. Let me put some advisos and some quid pro quos on that. If you have renounced your citizenship prior to becoming turning 18, you can, in fact, regain your citizenship before you turn 18, or if you apply within 6 months after turning 18. Oh. Oh, Lord. So, having said that, so
Mm-hmm.
hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
So, citizenship?
Yeah, we're talking about renunciation of citizenship.
Oh, because you don't want to live in the U.S. anymore?
We're talking about Blaxit. We're talking about people of color getting the hell up out of Dodge because they are not down with what the hell is going on in the United States these days.
Okay.
And how, in spite of the fact that they have left the United States, if they've not renounced their U.S. citizenship, they are still required to pay monies to the United States government on monies that they've earned, because we are expected to pay taxes on our global income.
Oh, really?
Yes, that is absolutely
news
correct.
to me.
That's right. So, also, Dan mentioned that on the application for his concealed weapon permit, there's a question about whether or not you've renounced your United States citizenship. And he thought that once you renounced it, you can't get it back. And I said, that's not true. You can't. And
so would you just have to go through the
naturalization?
Yeah, that one.
See, and that's what I was saying. It's not like you're a natural born citizen and you renounce your citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, if you did that prior to you turning 18, as I said, you can get it back. Or if you turn 18, you have 6 months to actually petition for it back.
I think most of the people that are doing this Blaxit thing are probably over 18.
Yeah, but the problem is they're not really renouncing their citizenship.
Oh.
What they're doing is
they're kind of waiting it out.
they're taking up permanent residency in another country, not necessarily renouncing your citizenship. That's basically what people do. Excuse me.
When you ain't going back.
When they come to the United States, they don't necessarily give up their citizenship in whatever country they come from. They just become a permanent U.S. resident. So what black folk are doing is becoming like permanent residents of Sierra Leone or permanent residents of, I heard Ludacris is like a resident of, what is it, Gabon? Like, where's his wife from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Nah, bro. So, as I said, not necessarily giving up your citizenship, just changing your residency. You're no longer a resident of the United States, but you are still a citizen because regaining your citizenship would be, kind of, it would not be super easy, but you should be able to go through the naturalization process. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Man, look, we got some injectables, whatchamacallits, right?
I'm telling you, man, the pollen count was high today. I can't help it.
Man, we got some injectables though.
Flow days ain't working.
Man, we got some
Claritin ain't working.
Sudafed, man, that's where it's at.
Really?
Yeah.
I prefer Allegra.
We talk about people like Tina Turner. I think Tina Turner actually did renounce her citizenship, did she not?
She went to one of the Middle Eastern countries, didn't she?
I thought it was like Germany or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was a European country.
Yeah. She definitely renounced. Let's do a search since we're talking about
look up Black Americans who have renounced their citizenship.
Really? I wonder if Wesley Snipes did.
Hell nah, that nigga went to jail. He was a citizen of jail.
I would have. Look, after that experience, I think I would have.
Man, look, I can tell you Mos Def did, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, he went to Africa, and then, if I'm not mistaken, they wouldn't let him back into the country afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, to do like a show or a concert or some shit like that.
All right. So let's see. List of former U.S. citizens who relinquished their. What led me to this topic actually, and talking about it and introducing it, is because I had read an article that said that Americans are renouncing their citizenship in record numbers. Like as of this year, they're seeing like it double
Right.
the number of people who are actually renouncing and or fleeing the country. And it kind of like took me aback. You know, we talk about, you hear it said all the time, especially leveled at people of color. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
Go back to where
And
you come from.
right, you know,
Mhm.
but you don't really think about people doing it, you know, like getting the
Mhm.
hell out. And I started reading the information, you know, I started reading the article after article, and then I hit this article that said in 2020, statistics show as of this month, like the number of people who have either renounced and or given up their residency doubled
I
in
can
previous
believe it.
years.
But
I
this
can
is the same thing that white people were saying when Obama
that they
was
were
running
gonna
for
leave.
office. It
Right.
basically, if he gets elected, I'm leaving this country, and I think Ted Nugent was one of them too, and maybe what's his name, Rush Limbaugh or somebody, like all the talking heads, and it's like, here we are 8 years later, well 12 now, and y'all motherfuckers still here. So
Mm-hmm.
people love to threaten to leave this country, and I can tell you for a fact that I would have no problem in 2020,
Leaving.
2019, 18, 17, leaving and renouncing my citizenship. The only thing I think that would prevent me personally from doing it is it would have to be an English speaking country. And then you have some of the quality of life type of things. Like they can't have holes in the ground for bathrooms.
You stupid.
But no, it would have I would prefer Canada, to be honest with you. And I believe Canada at this time is saying no US people
Yeah, they don't want us. You know,
because
it's
of
funny
COVID though.
that you say that there are countries who do not welcome us with open arms. But as African Americans, people of color, there are a lot of countries who do actually hold out their arms and say, "Oh, you're running or you're leaving, you want somewhere to go, come here." We mentioned earlier
Mexico,
Mexico is one of those countries.
Africa.
There's a lot of countries in Africa that also are like, you know, come on back home. But
South Africa is one of them too.
so I didn't know Eduardo Severin, the co-founder of Facebook,
Oh, the chicken dude.
he
Yeah.
straight up renounced his US citizenship and went to Singapore.
Wow.
And it says that, you know, not necessarily, well, he is a person of color.
Yeah.
So, but Singapore does not allow dual citizenship. So he said, so long, farewell. But you know, he did it for exactly the purposes that we were speaking about earlier. He did it for tax purposes.
Mm.
Because here's the thing about that. I said that United States government, you have to pay taxes on your global income, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you also would have to pay taxes in the country that you earn the money in. So, in effect, you're being taxed twice,
Right.
right?
And let me guess, Singapore has one of the lowest tax rates.
I don't know. According to this, It said he gave up being an American citizen to save millions in taxes from his Facebook fortune. So he was able to avoid capital gains tax on his stock.
Mm-hmm.
And
capital gains tax, for those of you who are unfamiliar, it is a tax on an asset that you have for longer than 1 year.
No.
Yes.
No. You just gave them the definition of a short term and a long term asset.
Over a year
Is a long term
and
asset.
under a year short-term capital
asset.
gain.
The problem is that's not what that's not the definition of capital gain. You just gave them the definition of
Right.
long and short.
I had to make sure that they were clear on that before I can tell them that a capital gain is a tax on income or something worth money that you have. It's called capital gains tax.
Denise Rich, she left.
Who is she?
She apparently was a songwriter for people like Mary J. Blige, Aretha Franklin, Jessica Simpson, Mark Anthony, Celine Dion, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan.
You ever notice that you always have to say Shaka Khan?
You have to. Yeah.
It's like it's a moral imperative that you have to say it like that. I was looking for Jet Li. Damn.
Wait, he was an American?
Apparently renounced his U.S. citizenship in 2009 and moved to Singapore.
Singapore must have some really low tax.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I could think.
So, Ann, if you decided for whatever reasons
to get kicked
to
kick the USA
yes.
in the ass,
yes.
where would I go?
Yes.
Is that your question?
Yes. Where would you go?
Dubai.
And why?
That's where you would go?
Hell no.
So why you say that's where I'm gonna go?
That just sounds like some shit you would do.
I've already been there. It's actually an awesome place.
Exactly. So
but it's hella expensive, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dubai is like stupid, outrageous.
Not if you live in the Metairie version of Dubai.
Nah, you couldn't
the outskirts.
You couldn't even live in the Metairie version of Dubai. So where would I go? Can you come back to me? Because I've never, honestly, as bad as people think the country is, and as bad as frustrated as I get with our country and the people in it who are making it the way it is right now, I've never actively thought about leaving, and if I did, where I'd go. So can I come back to me?
I'll start. Okay. So this is actually something that, in all honesty, all jokes aside, that I have thought of, and we've even discussed a few times. And I think we kind of landed in Canada because the weather, I love cold weather. It would be one of the English speaking, like say the Torontos or the Ontarios, the English, because Canada, from my understanding, is not that much different as far as lifestyle, your everyday life, from the US. And I will get health care and be able to go to the doctors. And Canadians are just fucking nice, man.
How you know?
I know Canadians, I just never been to Canada.
I'm saying, who do you know that's Canadian?
Drake.
You know what? I said, who do you know, bitch? I ain't say, what rapper or movie star.
Wait, are you going to tell me, be honest, and it's a yes or no question, right? For a few months out of the year, are you saying that I don't work with Drake every day?
You know what?
Yes, it's a yes or no. It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no.
I work with Drake every day.
I know. I do too.
I work with Drake every day, but not Drake the rapper.
So all I'm saying is Canada, cold weather. And I even thought about if I stayed in the States, like Alaska, because of the low population, but then you got to think medical care and things like that. Definitely Canada, definitely New Zealand.
Wait, so I thought it was you put a lot of thought into this thing.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. Climate's all right. I mean, it doesn't get as cold, but it's a beautiful country. And from all of the things that I've seen, at least, race is not that much of an issue there. And except for when you have idiots fly in from other places and shoot up.
I don't know. New Zealand and Australia, they have
No, Australia is fucking
they
racist.
have problems with indigenous peoples.
Yeah,
so
Australia. So Canada, Becky, you.
My thoughts were also Canada. But I really haven't narrowed it down after that. But just any country that has a really good healthcare. I'm kind of leaning towards Italy. I'm not really too educated on their race relations, but as far as lifestyle, I think they just kind of have a really relaxed way of life and just slower, and I think Italy would be a good place.
okay. So back to me. I actually think, out of the things that I've read and reasons that people gave when I was reading all these articles about Blaxit and things of that nature, for me, if I did it, I think Mexico would actually be the way to go, really, because you think your money would last a very long time. You're close enough, and I would go somewhere where I'm close enough that if I wanted to come back to visit, it wouldn't be like a stupid long flight. Because, my family's here. So I want somewhere where I can hop on a flight 2 hours. I'm home, come and see people for Christmas, Thanksgiving. If I wanted to pop up for Mother's Day, for Father's Day, and come back and see my family. But as I said, again, your money would stretch because American dollars to pesos, man, I would be killing it.
You would also
in Mexico
have to have like private security.
Not really. It all depends on where you're living. If you think about it,
You're living in Mexico,
right? You're living in Mexico, but if you did something like Puerto Vallarta, or you stick close to like touristy places, and even though you have like the cartels, shit, you got the cartels in the United States. I mean, you walk around and you don't have private security here. So I think for me, someplace in Mexico would be the place to go.
Okay, and we actually have somebody with some insight on Italy.
Okay.
About the I'm about to receive a call.
He from Charlotte.
Yeah, some of the information may or may not have been changed to protect the innocent, but Mexico, nah.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't do it only because I know certain parts of Mexico really bad. Let me tell you, people,
guess what?
really bad.
Certain parts of the United States are really bad.
Almost every part.
Certain parts,
Everybody
people,
has stuff.
That's
that
what I'm
they
saying.
need.
People are people everywhere, and there are bad actors everywhere. If you were smart about what you did and where you went, just like here, if you're smart.
Yo.
You all, I was like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Hey, you being recorded right now, too.
Oh, damn. Hey, I'm ready.
Look, all right, so we're talking about leaving the country, right? Going to other countries.
I'm giving y'all something from back in the day.
I picked Canada.
Permanently.
And Becky picked Italy, surprisingly. So what we're trying to figure out is, what are race relationships like for Black people in Italy, since you would know?
Man, look, I'm almost getting my my Italian citizenship as we speak. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm getting my Italian citizenship to go to New Zealand. But it's about the same. I mean, it's not as bad as America, but they got a big problem with African migrants coming over. So now they have a lot of race issues going on. But I will say this: you ain't got to worry about as much being black in Italy as you got to worry about over here.
Wait, so why do you need to go to get Italian citizenship to go to New Zealand?
Because we can't go nowhere in America. So the easiest way for me to be able to go all around the world is go through Italy, because the Italian passport is the fourth strongest in the world. So since it's easier for me to get Italian citizenship, I can easily travel anywhere I want in the world and stay there for a very long time if I have an Italian passport.
So how do you get a Italian citizenship then? Like, so let's say Becky wants to get Italian citizenship. What requirements would she have to meet?
Well, I can't say for sure for someone who doesn't have ancestry, but I'm basing mine off of dual citizenship with my great grandma being from Italy. But we meet those requirements, and it's kind of complicated. It gets complicated, but I think now I may be wrong. It's either you have to live in Italy for 5 or 10 years, and take care of yourself, be a good citizen, and make a certain amount of money to apply for citizenship if you just go there. I want to say it's 10 years. You have to stay there. Like, you have to physically stay there for 10 years and make a living. But I mean, it's not that hard, compared to some other places.
Like South Carolina?
I live 8 miles from South Carolina, and I only been there once, and that was the drive through to Georgia.
Man, so if you did leave the country permanently, Italy would be your choice of country?
Yeah, most likely. And also the good thing about Italian citizenship is they're in the EU, and when you're a citizen of an EU state, you can travel to any other EU state without a passport. You have free travel. You can go anywhere. So if I'm an Italian citizen with an Italian passport, I can go to Spain, France, Germany, Austria, anywhere I want to without having to worry about any visas or passports or anything like that.
Except England, because they're no longer a part of the EU.
England want to play games, so they kind of messed that up.
Man, so what about your family? Your family, would they also qualify based off of your ancestry?
Well, for me and my wife, the requirement is you have to be married to an Italian citizen for at least 3 years. If you have kids, it's cut in half. But me and my wife have been married for 4 years already. So, you got to show proof of marriage. Now, they say proof of marriage at an Italian church, but when you get dual citizenship, the rules are a little bit different. You're pretty much considered a national at that point.
All right, so back up a little bit. You said you have to be married to an Italian citizen for 3 years. Wouldn't that be from the point that you gain citizenship?
No.
It's retroactive?
See, yeah, I looked that up too because that's what I thought, but it's actually retroactive. It's from the date you got married.
Damn. Well, that sounds.
I was surprised too. I was like, oh shit, we already qualified.
Mm-hmm.
So would you renounce your U.S. citizenship, or would you keep that too?
You keep that. Italy didn't get dual citizenship until 1992. They didn't allow it until 92. So, but now, since the big diaspora, like my great grandma and granddad were, after 1992, you can become an Italian citizen and keep your citizenship in whatever other country you're from. So you don't have to renounce citizenship.
Damn. So can you get your wife, because we've had you on the show before officially, and we know that your wife is from the Philippines, could you get citizenship there?
No. I thought I could, but I can't. She's actually from Guam. Her father was born in the Philippines. Well, he wasn't born in the Philippines either. Her mom was born in the Philippines. Now, that's actually the passport you really want to get, because if you get Filipino passport, you can live in all of those South Pacific countries, and Asia and Vietnam and Australia and New Zealand and all that for as long as you. I think it's for. I forget. It's for a certain period of time, spouse included. But that's the passport you want to get.
Damn.
She can't get
Man, look.
She can't get dual citizenship there. She just misses it. They have stipulations for if you're in the military, because a lot of Filipinos left to join the military before they gained full independence. But she would have to jump through a lot of hoops to get citizenship for the Philippines.
I'll tell you what, we have something in the law called forum shopping. It's basically you're trying to find a court that would be advantageous to you. it sounds like Pete from Charlotte is out here country shopping.
Mhm.
That dude said,
I know
man,
he looked
the
into
one
the
you
Caribbean.
want is Filipino. You want that passport. You want to get it, man. Look, you make me want.
In all those countries in the Caribbean, you can buy citizenship. If you invest, I think, $180,000, you can buy citizenship in the Caribbean.
Man, see, look, you make me look. I might want to rethink my answer. Shit,
Fuck
I
that.
might want Filipinos.
Oh, Ann said she going to Mexico.
Hey, you can apply for refugee status, or I think Ghana or Nigeria, they welcome in Black Americans to come over there. And I don't know if you need a passport, but if they say the terms are very friendly to come back over in Africa, and they have a strong passport too.
See,
Man, and they got this this live entertainment scene. Like, all right, so U.S. is Austin, right? Austin, Texas is known for their night. They got this guy, Crazy
you know
G,
what?
right?
Stop.
They be like,
Just
they call me Crazy G,
Just
motherfucker.
Stop.
That motherfucker.
All right, man. That's all we wanted to find out was about Italy, because I was
Thank
like, I
you,
know
sir.
somebody who would know.
Hey man, I'm trying to get the hell out of Dodge.
I don't blame you, man. Shit, get out of Charlotte too. All right, man.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you. Man, look, so I mean, what he said actually I made the joke about country shopping, but that is actually what people do when they decide, I've had enough. I want to get out. You start looking for the place that is going to be more advantageous to you.
And that makes sense from a passport standpoint too,
Perspective.
because I wouldn't have even thought of that because I've never been anywhere. So it's like I don't, in the foreseeable future, see myself wanting to go anywhere.
But what he said, like you said, you think about, okay, I get this one. It's like a free for all. I can get this one passport, and it's like I have reciprocity. That's something else that we've talked about, how you take the bar in one state, and that state actually has agreements with other states that would allow you to practice. Well, you get this Filipino passport, and Asiatic countries are now open to you.
Man, where's Bali and Malaysia? Well, not Malaysia,
Bali
Bali. Where's that at?
That's South Pacific, isn't it?
Yeah.
What country? Don't say Bali.
Hold up.
Where the
I
hell?
thought it was in
Bali.
Thailand, but
Thailand?
Is
That might be
in
right.
Indonesia.
Indonesia. There we go. Look, we was watching. So, quick story here before we wrap this episode up is our trusted TV went out, right? And that's something I picked up in New Orleans. They say went out when something breaks.
It went out. That's right.
It went out. It broke. So I had to get a new TV. So we got the ultra high def 8K, 44K, 36K.
I thought the boss said 4. Okay.
I'm trying to hype our TV up, man. What the fuck are you doing? Shit. We got that new technology. It's 4 when it wants to be.
Oh.
But so we looking
Okay.
for content to watch in 4K and
so you can see all the
HDR.
pimples and everything else.
man, that HDR shit is fire. Like, all right, 4K is one thing, but when you pair that shit with HDR, different ball game. So we're watching this series on Bali, and they had this fine ass little Balayan bitch just walking around in a bikini.
Wait, time out. Once again,
Balayan.
I'm gonna need you
Girl,
to hold on
Man.
that freaking bitch word.
man, they ain't like she gonna hear me on anything. They got internet over there. Nah, but like some of the shit was just like dope, and I'm pretty sure that's not the main area, but that shit was fire. And I know someone that's a teacher.
What are you talking about?
I know someone that's a teacher living in I don't know them personally. I know of somebody that's a teacher living in a little villa in Malaysia paying $200 a month for rent. So people are like, yo, you living in a cardboard box?
No,
So
probably
she was
living like stupid plush.
yo, she did Instagram live of which like on the fucking beach, all the amenities in the crib. She got running water, a regular traditional
See,
bathroom.
that's what I'm talking about. The
And-
power of your dollar.
This is what's crazy. Is she? So you would think, okay, you're on the island. Where the fuck you gonna work, right?
She probably does work over the internet or whatever.
She is a English teacher, online English
English
teacher.
as a second language.
And I'm like, what the fuck? She is living it up. The only thing they have is poor medical care as far as like if your leg gets ripped off or something.
Right.
But I'm like, damn. So.
Oh yeah, see that's why I was saying like Mexico, because the value of your dollar. And I do understand that you have to think about healthcare and stuff like that. But Mexico, you can get fairly good healthcare, if you can afford it.
Shit, yeah, you can afford it. Cause my man Juan to do anything for Juan.
If you can afford it. But yeah, so there is, as we said earlier, there is this giant immigration
exodus
from United States to other countries. Yeah, we
So real quick too, little information. What's the process? I guess it differs for each country.
For each country, right? But I know reading the article, you just like you apply for residency in the United States, same thing. You call up. So what you would do if you are interested in doing something like this, I know in America, we have the embassies for a lot of countries in the United States. You go down to whatever embassy. If it's Mexico, you go to the Mexican embassy and you inquire about residency and the process thereof. Basically, it's an application. And quite like the United States, when you go to from some other country to the United States, you basically have to prove to them that you will not be a burden upon their country.
And
so,
for instance, when Paul was looking at Canada, if I'm not mistaken, I should have asked him this while we had him, but he wouldn't be allowed to go to Canada because he's on Social Security disability. So they would look at him as if you're trying to come here and mooch off of our system.
Correct.
And you don't have much to offer.
That is 100% correct. And that is something bringing it back to the United States and some new stringent immigration laws that are now in effect because of Dr. Dorito. They buttoned down the what is it called? We'll bring it back to my remembrance. You can't. You remember when I said you can't be a burden on the country that you're trying to get in?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you are trying to immigrate to the United States and on the application you put that you might be in need of social services, like X, Y, and Z, it is going to be harder for you to become naturalized. It'll be harder for you to immigrate into the United States because, as I said, anybody who is considered a burden. Same thing holds true for other countries. That much I know. If you cannot bring anything of value, if you actually are going to be a burden on their system, they will turn down your application for residency. But in order to find out what your particular country, what you need to do, you need to go to their embassy or look up their embassy online. That information is readily available for you.
And FYI, there are several embassies in the New Orleans area.
Mm-hmm.
There's, for example, Norway, Albania, Iceland, Holland, Finland, Venezuela.
Iceland probably is fire too.
Dominican Republic, Thailand, Portugal.
Oh, hold up. Don't go to the DR, y'all. Don't do it.
They're killing people in the DR.
Portugal, Panama, Mexico, Chile, France,
Don't
Honduras,
eat Chile's kiwis.
Man.
and Venezuela.
See, yeah, we got.
It's probably all in one building and it's
Austria.
one person. He just know all of it.
And wait, you said Austria?
Mm-hmm.
All
Austria.
right, Austria.
And they seem to be kind of all in the CBD. So Poydras, Canal, Magazine, St. Charles.
They're taking our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you are thinking about leaving the country, I've had discussions with lots of people who are ready to leave the country, and I'll just leave with this. If we have a mass exodus of black people, they are going to realize how much they need us.
How much we contribute.
Right. And as Doc Rivers said, why should we love a country that don't love us?
No, we still love. He said we still love a country that never loved us. That man was really crying.
Nah, that's just his voice. His voice always, because he be talking in interviews like that. Like, I can't believe he didn't hit the 3-pointer. Now we gotta go home for the rest of the season. They be like, "You all right, Doc?" He be like, "Yeah."
He's so stupid. But let me end with this. It is a reality that many people of color are leaving the United States. And I in the article that I was reading, this one lady, following her journey in particular, she said the straw that broke the camel's back was George Floyd's murder. So she was like, she worked in the correctional facility, said that she had been, she worked for juvenile detention, and in her job, she saw the disparities between how children of color and Caucasian children were treated. But she soldiered on. She soldiered on. But as I said, George Floyd is what broke the camel's back for her. That was the final straw, because she said she had an epiphany and she realized that she could no longer be a part of a country who absolutely has no respect for her. And then, you mentioned, and she went to Mexico, and you mentioned how parts of Mexico are bad, but, she stuck to touristy type places. And she said, and this is something that she said, and this is what struck me, and then I'll turn it over to Beck. She said, walking down the street in Mexico, looking at Mexican officers with automatic weapons, with machine guns, she felt no fear. She said her skin color is an asset rather than a detriment where she is. She said, she walks down the street and these same police officers with these submachine guns smile at her and she feels no fear. And that, as I said, that struck me, because how many of us have watched the cops? Like, you ever been pulled over and not felt like for a split second, man, like just felt fear for a split second? How many people of color can actually say that they've never done that in America?
Not I.
I can't say. I mean, I can honestly say that I have felt for, like, especially lately. You can put that stuff off in the back of your mind a lot of times, but current events lately, like, I'm driving and I see police lights and my shoulders start hunching up. It's like, damn. So it's
For some
crazy.
reason, it doesn't bother me as much when I see the police behind me. But the only ones down here are state troopers. Because I've said this before, this is the only place I've ever been where the speed limit could be 40 and I can blow past the cop going 65 in a residential neighborhood. And
that's in New Orleans. That gotta be in New Orleans.
Here,
Is
in
it
JP.
In Metairie? Because
JP.
them fools, they be all over you.
Now, Kenner, on the other hand, nah. So, Becky, closing thoughts.
Well, if you do plan on leaving the U.S. permanently, all I can say is do your research. Know what's a priority to you as far as what you're looking for in your new country. Immerse yourself in the culture as best as you can so that you're not surprised when you get there.
Don't be a colonizer.
Yes.
Oh, and like we said, do remember, as we said earlier, you are still required to pay taxes on that money if you are still a United States citizen.
Right. So look at the money part too.
Look at the money.
Yeah, look at the money. Is it really worth it to you? And take into consideration what Anne said with regard to being a productive member of their society.
Amen to that. This has
Mhm.
been another episode of Black Law and Legal Lives. Next week, we're going to talk about eviction during COVID, kicking these motherfuckers out left and
That's
right.
cool. That's just cool.
What? Ain't that what we doing?
Just cool.
My name is Dan. Keep up with us on all social media platforms at Black Law Podcast.
Hi, and I'm just Dan, and you can follow me.
I am Dan on drugs.
Shut up, man. And you can follow me at I Tell Legal Lies on Twitter.
And this is Afro Becky signing off.
Who joined the show midway through, but we'll make it work.